Okay, guys, hey, welcome to Reading Workshop. Monday and yesterday we talked about tricky characters who are in stories, and they're called tricky characters because they figure out a way to get what they want by either not telling the truth or not following the rules or distracting the other characters in the story, right? Today we're going to talk about folk tales. Now, folk tales is it's a genre, which means it's a type of text, okay? A folk tale is usually a story that has been told for many, many years. And in a folk tale, we usually have a tricky character, okay? And there's usually a moral or a lesson at the end of the folk tales that we read. So I have a chart here that we are going to put together today to help us learn what a folk tale is. So I am going to put the different categories of a folk tale here, and then I'm going to read to you the antelope story again, and we will fill out the different parts of the story, and we're going to decide together if it is a folk tale, okay? So a folk tale can have a tricky character. Okay, a folk tale can have a tricky character. And now you've already heard the antelope story, how the antelope outsmarted cheetah. So you can already start thinking about, did that story have a tricky character in it? Okay, so folk tales can have a tricky character. Folk tales also have a simple problem, okay? So they usually have a little problem that needs to get fixed quickly, a simple problem. So already my thinking voice is saying, oh my gosh, I remember that antelope and the cheetah story, and there was a problem in that story. And a folktale ends with a moral or a lesson. Remember, a moral or lesson is what do we learn from the story, okay? Now, you're just going to listen again. I'm going to read you the antelope and cheetah story again, and then we will fill in our chart and decide if it's a folk tale or not, okay? So I'm going to turn on my reading voice. You guys have your reading voice on too, so listen to me read the story, and then we will use our thinking voice to fill in this chart. So, how antelope outsmarted cheetah. Antelope was at the drinking pool with the rest of her herd. I'm going to stop because my thinking voice is wondering, I wonder what that word herd means. It's kind of important that we know that the word herd means a group of antelope. So she's not there by herself, she's there with all of her family or her friends, okay? That's what it means when she's there with her herd. Antelope stood in the warm sunlight with her eyes closed. The rest of the herd began to quickly slip away. They smelled cheetah in the air, but Antelope had a cold. Thinking voice is saying, oh, when I have a cold, I'm making a connection. When I have a cold, it's hard for me to smell. So if her friends smelled the cheetah, but she has a cold, she probably can't smell. She could not smell anything. Suddenly, Antelope heard purring. You're all alone, Antelope, said Cheetah. That means you're my dinner. Antelope looked around. She was alone and afraid. Oh, I did not see you before, she said, but you are wrong. I am not alone. My thinking voice is telling me that she's not being honest, is she? My friends and I are playing hide and seek. They are here. You just can't see them. Look, Antelope said and pointed to the drinking pool with her nose. Cheetah looked down and saw some of Antelope's friends. If he saw some of her friends in the water, but her friends weren't there, what do you think he's seeing? I'm wondering if he's just seeing their reflections in the water. He did not know that he was seeing the reflections of antelope in the ripples in the water. Go get them, Antelope said. So Cheetah jumped in the water and Antelope ran away. Okay, so let's go through our folktale chart. Is there a tricky character in that story? There is. Who is our tricky character? It's the antelope, right? The antelope is the tricky character. Did this story have a simple problem? It had a few little ones, didn't it? I would say the first problem that we ran into in the story is that Antelope had a cold, so she couldn't smell the cheetah like her friends could, and that's why she was left all alone, right? Then the other problem she had was that the cheetah wanted to eat her. So she had to quick figure out how she was going to get herself out of that situation, didn't she? Does this story have a moral or a lesson at the end of it? This one's kind of hard to figure out with this story, okay? But I'm thinking that the moral of the story for the antelope would be to always pay attention to what's going on around you. Because remember, she was just standing there, her eyes were closed, she couldn't smell, so she didn't know that all her friends had left, and she couldn't smell the cheetah. So the moral is she should probably just always pay attention to her surroundings, right? So that way she knows when she's in danger. So after filling out this chart, do you think this story, how Antelope outsmarted Cheetah, is a folktale? It is a folktale because it has a tricky character, has a simple problem, has a moral, and a lesson. So in Seesaw, you are going to listen to me read the weekly story to you again, The Clever Monkey, and then you're going to help me fill out the chart for that and tell me if you think it's a folktale or not a folktale. All right, thanks for watching, guys. I will see you later.